I taught my dog Jumpy, the one before Monkey, to do some paintings. And this is the one that we did.
If I was told I had to get a dog to do that, I would be
Yeah.
like, that's impossible. You did the training for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. How do you secure that sort of opportunity?
So they usually.
Omar Von Muller is one of the most celebrated dog trainers in the world, with a career spanning over 3 decades in film, television, and live performance, eventually becoming Hollywood's go-to trainer for canine stars. With his unique, individualized approach, Omar has proven that the right training can unlock any dog's full potential. Watching your stuff, it's like, man, he
Yeah.
knows how to make training a good time.
Yeah.
Did someone teach you how to do that, or was that just something you figured out on your own?
I just believe that when you have a dog that has a very strong foundation on everything, socialization, retrieving, agility, all kinds of, when you have a good foundation all around, then you can do just about anything that you want. Anytime you have an issue with the dog, you have to fix the issue. If you ignore it, then don't fix it, then it's never going to get fixed.
I've been going through your course that you have on Sit, Stay, Learn. And at the very beginning, you were talking about some of the work that you've done in Hollywood. And one of them piqued my interest quite a bit when you said you did some of the training, or you did the training for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is one of my all time favorite movies. So you trained the pit bull in that movie then?
Yes, we worked in that movie. Actually, the company that had it was Gentle Jungle, so we did a bunch of back work when in the Spawn Ranch with all a bunch of dogs and all that stuff. And then they had the pit bull that it was going to be doing attack work, but my friend, she was like, you know what? She really didn't know if she was going to be able to handle this dog because there was a lot of bite work and stuff like that. So she knows that that's what I like, and I've done it many times. So they contracted me, and we started working with the dog. The dog came I think it was from somewhere around Pennsylvania. I think it was. Can you hear me? Good. Yes. Okay. I see it like going. And the dog had basic agitation, nothing big, but he was a strong dog. He was like, I mean, we tested him, and he bit like a shark, and it was all great. Very, very, very good temperament. And so we started working. We worked about 6, 7 weeks with the dog. We worked with all the actors, we did all the bite work, and it was just awesome. I mean, it was just like a really good experience. I mean, all this Brad Pitt and all these people are with us working every day, and so. And there was another dog. There was two dogs that we worked with. The male was the one that we did all the attack work, and the female was just the easygoing, hang around in his trailer. So he had a double. And the cool thing about it is that the actor did a lot of the stunts, and so in the beginning we were a little bit afraid that he was going to get bit, but he was like, no, he was game, and we did it. Had a really short hidden sleeve that actually I developed with a tiny leather with a little bite bar inside, and so the dog had to target that shit every time perfectly, because if he didn't, he could have gotten bit. And many of the shots that we did, like coming off the sofa and biting, it was, then we did a crutch bite, and then we did the bite on the girl on the neck. But what I don't like about this movie is how they edited the whole thing, because it really sucked. I mean, it just went like that, 2, 3, boom, and he was gone. And it was like, what the fuck, dude? We shot for hours, man. The neck bite scene was incredible. The Tamara, the trainer, did all the bite on the neck area right here. And I mean, this dog drug all over the room, and there was blood everywhere, and it was just awesome. And then they just showed like a flash of I don't know, I don't even know what, and it was dark too. You couldn't see anything. And then on the crutch bite, if you really look at it, is a dummy. They had a dummy dog face that they put on the guy's balls, and that's it. It was just like a second of the dummy face going like that, and it's like, why? We really had the actor and the dog nail him on the crutch, and he was shaking the heck out of it. So I don't know exactly why they edited the way they did, but in my opinion, they screwed up because they really could have shown something awesome. But anyways,
Maybe
it
it
was
was too
like,
intense.
huh?
I said maybe it was too intense for them.
Yeah, I mean, Tarantino. I mean, I was expecting to see blood. I was really expecting to see this. I mean, I was just like waiting for that. When we were in the movies, when we went to see it, because we saw the when they showed the screener for everybody, I was like, what the fuck happened here? You know, that's a long ass movie. We're waiting for this, and it just went like that. So I wasn't happy about it, but it was a good movie and it was a good experience. Tarantino and everybody was a really good experience to work with.
I'm curious, how do you secure a position like that? How do you secure that sort of opportunity?
Well, I mean, it's Hollywood. There's a lot of animal companies, a lot of animal agencies that that they get the job. They get the job. I mean, I've gotten quite a few on my own because I got a few of the people that I work with, they will give me the whole movie by myself or whatever. But most of the time, they go to the big companies like Birds and Animals, Gentle Jungle, all these big companies that they have like 20,000 credits and the elephants and then the biggest movies that you've seen. Those are the ones that get those big movies because and they get a lot of money too. Okay, they don't charge cheap. They charge a lot of freaking money. But for the production companies, they want to make sure that this is going to happen. So they're not just going to contract a dog trainer and say, "Come on, let's do a movie," and then if something happens, then they have to shut production down. So that doesn't work. So they usually contract these big companies, and they charge a lot of money. I mean, these guys. I mean, when they do a movie, sometimes they do 5 6 months of prep training, sometimes even longer than that. I mean, we're talking millions of dollars here. I mean, that's just like crazy. So and we are the trainers that we get contracted and we go and work with them and that kind of stuff. So I'm a freelance trainer that I work with. So
Yeah, did they reach out to you? I'm trying to think because you said freelance, and before I got into dog training, I was a freelance post-production artist.
mhm.
And once all the studios had my information, if a
Right.
project came up and they needed me, they would just reach out to me. So
Yeah.
it made it really easy.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much how it works. That's pretty much how it works for me as a trainer because I'm a freelance trainer, so I work with different companies. Uh, there are some trainers that exclusively work with one company, but I just never like that. I feel like I'm tied. I feel like tied up to that company, so I just do my own thing, and then I get called from here, I get called from there, and most of the time I used to get calls mainly as specialty tricks. Okay, dogs, things that nobody had out there. Like if somebody wants a double backflip or skateboarding or diving underwater, they knew that all my dogs do a lot of crazy stuff. So
Mhm.
if they needed something crazy, they call me, and then that's the way it will be.
Yeah, something crazy like painting an entire picture. How
Yeah.
when you see these things that you do, often when I mention your name, because your name will come up if I'm talking to someone about dog training, if they want to be
Hmm.
a professional trainer, I always
Hmm.
tell people they need to check out your work. And I say, you probably have already seen it. He's the guy whose dog uses the bathroom, they paint pictures, they do some of the most wild things that I've seen, which makes
Yeah.
the training really fun. Watching your stuff, it's like, man, he
Yeah.
knows how to make training a good time.
Yeah.
Did someone teach you how to do that, or was that just something you figured out on your own just by having a deep understanding of training and doing it for 40 years?
Yeah.
I mean, your dog paints pictures better than most people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my whole life has been about studying the dog's mind, what they can do, what they cannot do, and just think about how to make it happen. And I just believe that when you have a dog that has a very strong foundation on everything, socialization, retrieving, agility, all kinds. When you have a good foundation all around, then you can do just about anything that you want. So the painting, for example, I taught my dog Jumpy, the one before Monkey, to do some paintings, and we did a few where he wrote his name Jumpy, and everybody went crazy because he wrote Jumpy. And then the we did a sunset, and then we did a landscape, and they were kind of funky, but they were nice, and it was just insane. And then when Jumpy passed away, then I was with Monkey, and I was like, let me see if I can teach him how to do this. And I play with the holding the brush and touching the canvas. I mean, not even the canvas, just the wall and stuff like that. And it was kind of cool. He did a bunch of doodles out there and stuff. But I didn't really touch it until last year again when I said, let me see how he's doing. So then I started again with the basic. I put a good foundation on him, on holding the brush, touch here, touch there, up and down, slow. No, didn't put any paint on the brush or nothing. It was just putting a foundation. And then we did a couple of flags, U.S. flags, which it was pretty simple because it was just straight lines sideways and then the touching on the stars, and that was kind of cool. And I was like, okay, that was nice. So then we did a couple of landscapes because it's not hard. And then again, it's just like brushes left and right and so on. And but I was like, you know what? I want to take it to the next level. I really want to see how far he can go in the painting. I didn't know if he was going to be do a landscape or a sunset like Jumpy did. I was like, man, if he gets there, that'll be great. So actually, I was doing the course with Nick, and uh, and he's the one that asked me. He said, when do you think that you're actually going to be doing uh, something like art with Monkey? And I said, I don't know. Just give me a few months to see where he's going to be at and so on. And but you know what? I've been blown away by this dog. It's just the way the control of the brush, where he puts it, where he starts, and everything. It's just like sometimes he's reading my mind because the I mean, when I start in the beginning of, I use a little stick, so I will show him where to start. You touch with the stick there, or you point with the stick, and then you get a little bit of distance where the dog is going to touch and where he's going to end, and so on. So. Then I started doing it with my hand, like pointing here, pointing there, and then of course always use the commands also, like stay, hold it, up, down, and then it just started registering in his head how I'm talking to him. He knows if I'm saying easy, slow, wait, fast. So it's just like a combination of the whole thing. How it's getting. Look at the. I'm sure you've probably seen it. This is the one that we did a couple days ago. Yeah, and look at the original. Let me see. Okay, so this is the one that we were looking at, and this is the one that we ended up with.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
Like
it's
if I was told I had to get a dog to do that, I would be
yeah,
like, that's impossible.
yeah. And you know what? It's like the Scooby Doo. You guys seen Scooby Doo?
Yeah, I saw the Scooby Doo one the other day.
And but anyways, like I said, he just blows my mind, and I really believe that this is the beginning. I really think this is the beginning because right now is when we're connecting to a point that there's very little mistakes. Almost every stroke is like perfect. So I can't wait. I really can't wait to a few more months to see where he's gonna be.
And do
Because I
you
mean,
use your sorry to cut you off. Do you use your mark system for that as well to keep them in the right position as far as distance to the
yes.
canvas?
But the mark, yes, the mark I use is this. This is this is his mark for the where he steps. Okay, because then again, it's like doesn't have to be exactly, but it's a good idea to keep him at a certain distance from the canvas, so that way we have 100% control, and that is going to turn out okay. Because if I mean, sometimes I can be making a painting like this, for example, and then comes the final touches, like the eyes and the little shine in the eye, like the eyes. Fuck, I was sweating it on this one because because I mean, you're doing it, and then the dog has to put the eye exactly where it's supposed to be. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if he moves a quarter inch to the left or to the right or down, it's a fuck up. It's a fuck
Right.
up. Then I have to tell him to cover it, and then that doesn't look good anymore. So it's like, oh fuck, it's just like, so. Like I said, the precision of him just touching it is just becoming awesome, awesome, awesome.
And I'm only halfway through your mark system blueprint course, but I find it really interesting how you've taken what I call the climb, some people call it the place, and then almost some people call it the perch bowl or perch where they put their paws on a
Mhm.
bowl and they teach them how to pivot their back end. But you really taken it to the next level. And I'm at the part where you're starting to show the dog how to perform commands from a distance,
Right.
performing commands from different positions relative to you, really getting the dog generalized to it. How did you create this system using this mark? Like, what made you decide, like, okay, this could really help strategically place my dog in specific positions? Probably something that's a really important key factor to the movies that you've worked on, I would
Well,
imagine.
that's where I got it from. That's where I got it from. I mean, studio work, the marks is a big thing that everybody trains is marks. It's just I think I took it to the next level because uh, you see a lot of studio trainers training the marks, and they have the little boards and stuff like that, or the little cup holders or whatever. We use all kinds of things. Actually, we have things that are made like they look like a leaf of a tree or something, and those are just different things that. But I've never seen anybody training marks like I have to the point that, like, for example, Jumpy was like the best marker in the that I ever had in my life. I mean, the freaking dog was just crazy. I could grab a little tiny piece of tape, like from the prop truck, just like a little, like this, right? And just put that baby anywhere that I wanted. Can you see it? It's like a little piece of
Yeah.
tape. And just put
Mhm.
that baby anywhere I wanted. Boom, right there. Show it to him. Hit it. Boom, and he'll just go and boom, step on it and do whatever the fuck I wanted to tell him. And if I needed to switch it to the left or to the right, because sometimes the dogs, they pattern themselves and it's like, oh, the dog's gonna make a mistake. Don't worry about it. Just go and put it somewhere else, repeat it 2, 3 times, and boom, he's on the right pattern. Uh, it got to a point that, because I did a lot of scent discrimination with him too, that I could just touch the floor like this with my finger, put my scent on it, and just tell him to go and find it and touch it. He'll go find it and step on it, and he just patterned really quick to that spot. No mark necessary. It was just the scent that I put on the floor. So it's just it has been a tool for almost everything that I do, because in anything that I need to train a dog to do away from me, I'm going to use a mark. I'm going to use a mark. I'm going to use a little piece of whatever. I'm going to put it, go over there, do whatever you need to do. Like, for example, if I was going to teach blinds in Schutzen, for example, I
Mhm.
would teach you with 2 marks. One mark over here, one more over here. Go around the blind, come back, and get my reward. And in 2 minutes, the dog is going to know how to go around the blind, even if he's never gone around a blind. So it's about using the imagination and how to use them, but it really, really, really helps.
Yeah, it's all about clear communication. And I've known trainers that use that for like French ring, where they have to do the jumps and the dog has to go to a specific spot,
Hmm.
sit there, turn, do the jump again. But I
Right?
haven't seen it taken to the level that you use it.
Yeah.
And have you used it in all types of training? Like, thinking about it, it seems like it could be a very useful tool for service dog training as
Yeah.
well. And
Absolutely.
I had a show on Animal Planet back in 2017 called Rescue Dog to Super Dog. And I wish I had seen your course before doing that, because I'm thinking of
Hmm.
all the times I could have used it
Hmm.
to simplify the process.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
as we talk about it quite often with dog training, it's really more about dog communication. How clearly can we communicate with them? Now, you've
Exactly.
mentioned scent detection and also protection work as well. Do you do a lot of scent detection training and protection
I
training, or is it
I
most?
don't do it anymore, but I did it for many, many years. That's how I made my life. That's how, when I was a kid, that's what I did. Agitation training, attack dogs. From Chihuahuas to Great Danes, whatever came, we trained them. So we had a huge a group agitation class in my house, and then we did the ring sport, and we did all this stuff in my house. But it was every weekend was training dozens of dogs to do attack work. That was the thing back then. So,
Yeah,
but like I said, the marks. I mean, can you imagine doing a hold and bark on a mark? Just go to a mark, and you don't move from that mark until you get a bite. It's as simple as that. It's
yeah.
it's as simple as that. You can put the mark 4 feet away from the guy, 3 feet away, 1 feet, and you can put it in front of the guy. But the dog has to go and stay right there and bounce on that mark. It's just it's common sense. That's just what it is. And, like, for
It's
example, like,
definitely a smart
go
way to
ahead.
do it.
Yeah, and like I was saying, like, I use it a lot. Like, for example, I mean, anything that let's say, for example, you need a dog to open a refrigerator, right? Okay, pretty simple. The dog goes, grabs a rag, and pulls it open. But for whatever reason, you need the dog to come from this side to open the door in the right way. Instead of having a dog pulling the refrigerator the wrong way and getting frustrated, and you adjusting the dog this way and that way, you just put a mark right here. Go to the mark. Okay, now take it and back up to the mark. And it's like, and that's it. So it's simple things. I mean, like just about comes handy for just about everything.
And do you focus on implementing this with pet obedience, or is most of your work working with Hollywood and doing tricks and the things that really make your training stand out? Do you have any pet clients at all?
Right now, I'm not training anymore. I'm like painting. I'm doing other stuff. I'm kind of tired of the whole thing. Just like I was tired of Hollywood. I was already tired of Hollywood. I mean, it was a nice job. It was a good gig and so on. But you know what? I'm getting older, and when I started this, I was a young kid out training and doing the movies and so on. And I will see like the older trainers being there, like just waiting to go and train and follow directions by the producers or directors or whatever. And I would look at him and it's like, okay, cool, but I was like, you know what? I don't want to be there when I'm old. It's just like I don't. It just is that's not what I wanted to do when I got older. But long story short, time goes by and then I'm there. Then I'm older and I'm like, fuck, didn't I say 20 years ago that I didn't want to be here? It's like, you know what? So it's time to just move on. So we moved to Florida and now we're just doing other stuff, doing a lot of the internet stuff. The paintings are working out really, really good. So that's something new. I'm training the Aussie to paint also. He's not even close to do anything like Monkey, but he has a good attitude and he really loves to hold the brush and do the stuff. So I think it's going to be another good project for the next 6 months to a year or so.
And are you still going to be doing movies for Hollywood?
Hell no, no. I got a few calls. I got a few calls like for commercials and two movies actually. And I said no, fuck no. It's a pain in the ass, man. You gotta go and fly, stay out of town for months, stay away from the family, and you know what? It's just been there, done that. So it's not something that it's just gonna be like get me excited about it anymore.
Right. What was the last movie that you did? Was it Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Probably that was probably the last big movie. After that, I'm sure we worked in a couple of little movies. We worked also in Night Bitch. That's probably the last one that we did before I came to Florida. Yeah,
Can
that was
we
pretty
talk
cool.
about some of the other movies that you've done and some of the training that was involved with those movies? I think this would be, I mean, I find it very interesting. So I'm sure other people will find it interesting as well. Maybe
Sure.
some of the challenges that you faced or some of the training goals that you had to overcome that might have been challenging.
Yeah. Um, it's hard to tell because I mean I don't want to pat myself in the back or anything like that, but it's just like my dogs are so freaking trained, and the reason why they're so well trained is because this is something that I love. This is my passion. This like I'm working with them. I'm putting so much time with them, and so most of the times when we do movies and stuff like that, even the movie with artists with the Lord Jack Russell, these dogs are ready to go. I mean, they're ready. They're just like I mean, action and go. I mean, of course, sometimes we say that the dog is not too much ready because we want to get a little bit of money on prep or something, and we prep the dogs and play with them and so on. But most of the times, I mean, they're so ready to go that it's not even funny. It's just like because I train them to do everything that I can think of. It's not just Monkey. All of my dogs, they just know it. So when we get roles and commercials and stuff like that, it's pretty much a piece of cake. It's a piece of cake. It's just go and get it done. It's just like so. Challenges, not really. I kind of haven't. I really can. Something will hit me that it was just like, wow, that was hard. It was crazy. No, but I mean, like I think the challenge is to put the time on your dogs because I believe that we can do so much more with our dogs that everybody does. It's not just the basic obedience anymore. It's about communicating with them and being able to talk to them, and the dog will respond to you. It's not about blood sits. No, no, it's just like, hey, lay down, chill. Just talk to him like that, and then you have that communication with the dog, and the dog will listen to you. Okay, but of course comes with a strong foundation. Uh, I am a strong trainer. Some people say like, oh, he's all positive and he only does positive. No, my obedience is very solid, very strict. I get to the point on the get to the head really quick. Like, hey, I'm the boss here. Listen to me. This is not. I'm not bullshitting you. And the dogs get the message really quick, and then that's it. I really don't have to put any more pressure for pretty much for the rest of their life. So there is some type of negativity corrections or whatever, but you don't really need to use it anymore. It's like if the foundation was strong enough that you made yourself clear what you wanted to tell him or teach him or whatever, then the rest is easy.
And you're saying foundation. What are some of the things that you do when you get a new dog, new puppy, new rescue to
Hmm.
help build that strong foundation? You talked about it a little bit earlier where you mentioned socializing. And in
Hmm.
your course, you have a section on manipulating the dog as well, which is, of
Yes.
course, very important. And you say,
Yeah.
this is very helpful when it comes to taking the dog to the groomer or taking the dog to the
Hmm.
vet, but is also really important when you're doing tricks. Now, that's about where I am at the course.
Yeah.
So, can you explain how you use that within the training and how that becomes part of the foundation to be able to manipulate the dog for tricks?
Yeah, well, I mean, the manipulation it has to be something like you're able to touch the dog or move him around, twist him around, doing all kinds of things that the dog feels comfortable, and the dog feels that he has that trust in you that you're not gonna screw him or drop him or hurt him. Okay, for example, like if I need to clean their teeth, that's a manipulation right there. He can put him on the side, keep your head down, and do all the cleaning. It's like that's one thing. If I need to jump on top of me or for whatever reason, the dog needs to be comfortable when I'm carrying him, and he's not going to be kicking and scratching the heck out of me, or oh shit, you're going to drop me. If I can hold him in my arms on the dog's back, and the dog is comfortable that he knows that I'm not going to drop him. So all that manipulation, it comes handy in a lot of different ways. It's just and anything that you do in life with the dog, it becomes when you take him to a vet, when you're going to bathe him, anything that you do that you need contact with the dog, you need to give him shots. If the dog needs to get stitches for whatever reason, or I mean, there's on and on and on of so many things that we need to be able to manipulate the dog somehow, and the dog needs to be relaxed when you're doing so.
And if you rescue an older dog, let's say a dog that's past the imprinting, they're maybe past full maturity, 2, 3 years of age, do you
Hmm.
still go through that same process of the manipulating? Because I've come
Yes.
across some dogs where they're very sensitive with their paws, let's say.
Right.
I had
Right.
one client where I was working with where they had gone through 3 or 4 trainers prior to working with me, and
Hmm.
the dog seemed perfectly fine. But if you touched the dog's paws, it would
Hmm.
bite, and it wouldn't bite as a warning. I mean, it would come at you. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
and
Well, I mean,
are you
I would definitely use, because anytime you have an issue with the dog, you have to fix the issue. Like if that dog had an issue with the paws, then you have to fix that issue. If you ignore it, that don't fix it, then it's never gonna get fixed. But if
mhm.
you have that issue, come, you put a muzzle on his ass, and it's like work with him, and hey, I can touch you, motherfucker. It's like it's okay. It's gonna go crazy. No, it's okay. And you touch him, and slowly but surely, the dog should understand that hey, from here you went all the way to the toenails, and it was okay. Obviously, the dog had a really bad experience at one point or other. Maybe they clipping his nails, or who knows what happened. And the dog said, "Hell no, you're not touching my toes." So, but and that escalates. Sometimes the dog has like for example, like say, he had a bad experience with his nails, and then somebody went to touch him, and then he growled, and then people would move back, and then
Mhm.
escalated to more and more, and get to a point like, hey, he's the boss. If somebody touches, I'm gonna bite you, and he knows that they're not gonna touch him. So, yeah, you can reverse all that stuff. It's about how to use your imagination and do it one step at a time. Okay. In other
So
words, I'm not
then,
I'm not going to go and grab the dog's toes and get him even more pissed. It's like I'm going to start slowly. I'm going to have a muzzle because I'm not going to get bit, but I'm going to have a muzzle. But I'm going to start from the top and stuff like that. Lay him on the side, do all this stuff, and slowly but surely, this dog is going to let me touch his toes or whatever. It might take some time. Some dogs will take longer than others, but there's always a goal, and there's most of the times we can get there. Most of the times we can, if we use your imagination, your patience, and everything else. Most of the times it can be fixed.
With some of the let me rephrase that. With someone who's new with training and they're dealing with a certain goal or an issue, I think one of the common mistakes people make is when they first start a session, they might have a goal for that session. Oh, I'm going to get in 10
Mm.
reps, 15 reps, 20 reps. I think it's good to have long-term goals, but sometimes short-term goals, like in one single session, can create issues. Do
Yeah,
you agree with that, or what is
absolutely.
your
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, no, no. That's something that I'm big on. Is like I never have a goal like I'm gonna train this dog and today to in one day to do this, or I'm gonna set up a schedule of not bullshit. No, I go with the flow. I just go with the flow, start from the bottom, and start working my way up. And if for whatever reason I notice that is not working right there, then I go back and then start again, and then start peaking the whatever I'm teaching. The idea is to try to peak the behavior and leave it right there. Okay. Sometimes I test it a couple times and then leave it right where it's peaking for the next day or the next session that you do. Then the dog is going to be right there. But I don't like to think, for example, like I was saying with Monkey about the painting. Oh, I'm gonna for sure it's going to be painting in a month or 2 months. No, no, I just go with the flow. Go with the flow to see what happens. And most of the times the dogs surprise the heck out of us if we don't have high expectations of the dog to finish it right there. Sometimes in the movie industry we do have a time to finish something. We have 6 weeks of prep for to teach so many dogs to do certain things, and now you have a time. Okay, but when you have a time like that, then what happens is there's going to be a lot more sessions in training, a lot more sessions, very short sessions. Like if it's something that is a green dog that doesn't have something that needs to be done in 6 weeks, then you set a schedule like, okay, let's work this week on putting a foundation on this, and then the second week, then we try something else, and you try to be ready for the 6 weeks for the dog to be shaped up on whatever you're trying to teach. So
And how often do you try new things like experimenting? Because that's something I also think is important for someone who
yeah.
is new to training to be willing to try things, to experiment, but of course to do it in a way that's safe for them, safe for the dog.
Yeah.
Um, how do you approach trying new things when you're trying to experiment? Like I'm going to have a dog paint, or I'm going to have a dog use the toilet, right? And then you have to problem solve and figure out
I
how you're
mean,
going to do that.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, before I experiment, I do a lot of thinking. It's making sure that I'm covering all the bases. Like for example, like painting. Uh, Painting is something that has to be done with tons of positive stuff. We're talking major, major positive stuff. There's no way in the world that I can yell at Monkey because he makes a wrong stroke. Okay, because then that's like, what the fuck are you yelling at me for? This on his head is not going to click that he made a wrong stroke. Okay, I mean, there's many times, trust me, that we've been painting and then it goes like mess up the whole painting. Not too much now, but in the beginning it was. But what is it? It's like, oh, I don't even say that. I was like, inside of me, I said, oh, I'm gonna turn around and I play stupid because I don't want to pass it to him
Mm.
that there was something wrong that happened in the painting. So it's like, if I see like a wrong stroke, I get, oh, turn around, talk to myself, talk to the dog. Yeah, good boy, it's okay, whatever, put the pain away and start again or whatever. But I'm the one that has to take a deep breath and it's like, don't say fuck or anything because he knows if for whatever reason I say fuck, whatever. I mean, the dog is like, what the. did I do wrong? Like it could be whatever. So no, he knows the word. But what you call it? No, I got to be really conscious about the dog cannot get bad experiences from this, because when we're painting something like this, we're talking like there's a lot of strokes in this baby, and not that one. No, that's okay. But the big ones that I made, like the self portrait and the other ones like that, we're talking about hundreds of strokes. It's like one, two strokes, he gets a reward. One, two, three strokes, he gets a reward, and so on. Then we take a break, and then we start again, and so it's a lot of work, and I cannot. The dog needs to be motivated to go through that. So and not let him get burned out at all. I have to make sure that I do a few. Yeah, 5, 10 minutes of painting, having fun, whatever, and then I put them away. Then we go outside, go inside the house, and just chill. And then we come back again, and maybe sometimes I even play a little bit of ball before I do the like a couple of catches with the ball. Then we do a couple of paint. Then we do a little bit of painting. Then let him have the ball. And so it's always try to make him feel good about it. And when you're talking about that you're painting almost every day and for so long, then it's you have to be really measure the whole thing all the time. Just keep measuring it, make sure that this stays nice and smooth, and that's it. And I think that's I know that I have a lot of trainers behind me right now that are painting because they want to do this. So I know that, bro, if they mess up on that, that will be the end of the painting because the dogs are not going to paint under pressure. That's just not going to happen.
Mhm. That's with a lot of obedience or training, I think, as well. So, like a quick example could be tracking. When I
Mm-hmm.
first learned how to do Schutzen style tracking, IGP style tracking, I was taught not to use any form of compulsion during the track. And if you
Mm-hmm.
do, you better be pretty good and you better know what you're doing, because if we do that, it can often create what they would call lying, where the
Yeah,
dog lies and they just act like they're tracking, even though
yeah,
they're not on the track, because they're like, I need to do something. I'm
yeah.
trying to avoid getting a correction. And this
Right.
leads me into a follow up question as well. Do you have a step by step process? I know when you look up dog training businesses and websites, they often will say things like, we don't use a cookie cutter system. We break it down for each specific dog, which I
Mm-hmm.
understand that, because, of course, each dog is going to have different things, like what motivates them, what sort of
Mm-hmm.
level of perseverance do they have, how intelligent are they, how much drive and food,
Mm-hmm.
all these different things are going to change the dog that we're working with. But for me, I think this is a big part of my military background. I was a machine gunner, martial art instructor, combat
Mm-hmm.
swim instructor, and a drill instructor. And I like having systems.
Mm-hmm.
So with every dog I work with, I always start with relationship building. I want to build a strong relationship. I'm going to incorporate play. I'm going to incorporate some bonding time, get the dog really comfortable and trusting me. And then the next thing that I do is engagement training, which I noticed you did a little bit of that as well in your course, which was slightly different from how I see most people do it, where you keep your hand moving a little bit more to keep the dog. I think action and animation can definitely keep a dog interested instead of
Mm-hmm.
staying still.
Mm-hmm.
After that, then I do some basic luring. Then I teach the dog how to follow a leash. Then I'll go back. I'll do some more advanced luring. Then I'll
Mm-hmm.
start working on the stay and proofing. So I have this process that I
Right.
follow, and I adjust each step according to the dog.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any sort of process like that where you know, all right, I got to build a
Yeah.
relationship before I do this? I have to do this before that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the when it comes to obedience training, I mean, really find it very easy. I don't know if it's because of the experience or the
Mhm.
tons of dogs that I train or whatever, but I just find it very, very, very easy to train. Okay, I do have my system kind of. Uh, Usually, like when, for example, let's say I get a dog first day. First of all, I'd never like to train a dog in the first day or second day or anything like that. I like to set it. If it's an inboard dog that it comes to me as a trainer that I'm training in my place, then I spend a couple of days with the dog, just learning the dog, having fun, let him make mistakes. I don't care. I want to see where the dog is at, and just having good, fun stuff with the dog for the dog to trust me and to like me. Okay, that's
And
something
what are
that
you doing during that time? Are you just sitting on the floor with the dog? Are you trying to get it to play with toys?
everything that I can imagine. Every dog is different, so Every dog is going to throw me something different, and of course we have experience on what they're doing, what they're thinking, and so on. So just go with the flow and get that happen. Okay. Then the usually the first thing that I teach is to heel, and it's a very simple heel back and forth. Tons and tons of right about turns, nice and easy. Pick up the speed. Come right next to me, because it's not hard to teach a dog to heel or do anything else if you're luring the dog. But realistically, you can lure any dog you want. You can lure a 10-week-old Malinois or a high drive little puppy with food, and the dog will lure like will look like a Schutzen 3. But realistically, that has a long way to go until the dog does a really nice heel for real,
Mm.
a real heel. Okay, for example, I believe that a dog does a nice heel is when you're able to take a dog into a crowd, people, airport, whatever. Like I was
Right, where
saying,
you're doing it in the street, you're doing it in a public environment, there's
yes.
lots of distractions. That's a good, point too, where we're looking at certain long-term goals. Um, one of the things that I like to teach, I like to put terms on everything if a term doesn't already exist,
Mhm.
and one of the things that I use when I'm teaching new students is what I call environmental difficulty assessment, and I do a scale of 0 to 5. So
Mhm.
5 is considered the hardest environment for that dog that I'm training. And
Mhm.
then 0 would be training inside the home, minimum, no distractions really. And what I tell my students, I say, it doesn't mean that you can't take your dog to a level 5 environment early on. You just have to adjust your expectations. Just because your dog can do a sit in a level 0, no distractions, it doesn't mean your dog's going to be able to do it at a level 5 if you
Mhm.
skip all the other steps leading up to that point.
Right, right.
And I define the difficulty based on the distractions. So
Okay.
you can take a level 0 environment and you could turn it into a 1 just by adding distractions into the environment.
Mhm.
So I encourage them to work their way up. Do a handful of 1s, then a handful of 2s, 3s, 4s, until we eventually can get to a level 5 or whatever sort of number scale you want to use, 0 to 10, 0 to 100, whatever works best.
Mhm.
Do you think about that just like instinctively, or is that something you calculate as well?
You know what? Let me. Most of the okay, I've been like when I do seminars or when I talk to other trainers and or people that have trained dogs or come to me and they have issues with their dogs that they were trained before and blah blah blah. 99.9% of all the issues that I see is something that I'm very, 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 very strict about it when it comes to training a dog from basic obedience to whatever, is the handling of the leash. Okay,
Mm.
this is I think this is the most important thing that because I'm telling you, if you go do it yourself, record trainers, record people that are working their dogs, and you're gonna see that tension on that leash all the time. Okay, and that for me, like I said, for me, that's everybody can do whatever they want, but for me, is a no is a no thing. It doesn't exist in my book. My leash is always, 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 always loose, always, and I control the dog with that leash loose at all times. If I need to make a quick turn and a sharp correction, that kind of stuff, that's how it happens. That's how it gets corrected. But I mean, there's so many that it's like it's not even funny. Some people that I talk to and I see them and they're professionals and they're doing it over and over again. If this is if this is not done that way, if the leash is always loose, if you have a nice light leash, if that leash is loose, the way you control the leash and your corrections, from the basic healing few lessons that you do, you're putting the foundation for the rest of the dog's life and training. Okay, there's no need for e-collars. Okay, you can use them; it's a great tool. But if you train the basic obedience with a loose leash at all times and you're good about how you handle the leash, you can take the leash off anytime you want because the repetition and the pattern that you put in the dog's head is to be paying attention to you, not that leash. Okay, so that's a huge thing that I talk to all the time because it happens over and over again. And like I said, I don't want to mention names, but just about any trainer that you see out there, I see them. They're making a turn and the leash goes up. And the leash goes down.
Mhm.
There's tension here. There's tension there. And they're training the trainers.
I mean, the clients, and the clients is making that over and over and over and over again. So that doesn't happen with me. I never do that. You're not going to see me that leash is so freaking loose at all times that the dog is like a dog is off leash. If I take that leash off, the dog is going to act exactly the same like when I have the leash. So something that I really strongly recommend to new trainers and everybody that trains dogs is keep that freaking leash loose. Work in that leash handling because that is the key of training a good obedience. I can get when I get a dog that, like I was saying about, I get a dog, I start doing tons of about turns and tons of healing, like in a little area like this. I don't need any more than this. There's so many turns, and that leash is always loose, and the popular correction comes perfectly when I make the quick turn, and the dog pops up and goes. And then once I have that, I have the dog in my pocket. That's just pretty much it. That's it. That's it. I can take
I,
him anywhere. I can take him outside, and that's it. Because if I take him outside, if he gets distracted, I do exactly the same thing that I was doing in this room, and the dog goes back to the shape. And dogs are pattern animals. If you keep him in the right pattern, is gold. If you're trying to teach something, but there are mistakes on the way, and pulls and tugs and this and that and blah blah blah, then the dog's mind is never going to be clear enough to be where you want it to be. Then you have to use the e-collars, and then you say this and this or that to control the dog. So, but if I strongly believe that if you have the leash loose from the beginning, that simple thing as a dog trainer from the beginning, that's it. It's done. It's done. I mean, for recalls, for anything, because the dog is with you at all times, and when you say something, it happens. That's
yeah, and I have the same, pretty much the same goal of keeping the leash loose, but I do teach the dogs that I train leash pressure, although I don't like the term leash pressure as much as a leash cue, because
Mhm.
I'll use the leash to show the dog certain things within my system. So, to give you some context, when I am training a dog, my communication system involves the markers where I'm teaching them the sound that predicts the reward or the sound that predicts punishment.
Mhm.
And I define a marker as any word or sound that predicts any one of the four quadrants of opera conditioning, because that helps us with that extrinsic motivation to influence a dog's behavior, which, of course, ideally, it's nice to get them to the point where they're doing things because they really enjoy working with us, which
Mhm.
I see with all your dogs. Like they're looking at you, they're focused, and they love working with you. After I do that, then I'm doing the luring, as I said before, and then I use the luring to teach the dog leash pressure.
Mhm.
So, for example, I'll lift up on the leash, the dog feels it, very light pressure, and then I'll lure the dog into the sit, turn off the pressure, reward the dog.
Mhm.
And after a few sessions of this, I can start guiding the dog in multiple different positions with
Mhm.
the leash. Now,
Right.
that's my main communication system that I like to teach, because for me, that unlocks three events that I teach all my clients and students, which is the reward event, reinforcement event, and the correction event. And
Right.
so I define the reward event when we're rewarding the dog, of course, we're playing tug or we're doing treats or whatever, petting, loving on the dog. Then the reinforcement event I define as any time we want our dog to perform an action.
Mhm.
But then I also have under reinforcement event, which I call a teachable moment. So a teachable moment for me is when the dog violates a boundary or breaks a stay. So I use a marker that predicts negative reinforcement. So the dog breaks a stay or violates a boundary, and I say, that's my marker for negative reinforcement, or oops, or whatever, doesn't matter as long as I'm consistent. Then I go to the dog and I show them what I want them to do using some form of negative reinforcement. And ideally, in the beginning, I'm using the leash
Mhm.
because I want to put the dog back in the position they just broke, but I don't want to reward the dog. So I don't want to do a food lure because I don't want to lure the dog back in the position they just broke and then not give them the reward, which could maybe damage the lure.
Mhm.
Or I don't want to give them the food because I don't want to teach them break the position, go back into the position, get a
Mhm.
reward, which that could be fixed later, even if you did do that.
Mhm.
So I know this is a long way of asking the question,
Mhm.
but do you utilize leash pressure at all like that? Or is it your goal is always loose and you do basically all the
Well, I mean, for example, the leash pressure you're talking about. For example, let's say you want the dog to go to a down. I can understand that you can just pull the leash downward and show
Mm.
the dog what you want. That's okay. That's done all the time. But
I don't like teaching like that though.
huh?
Meaning, like, so I don't like to teach a dog down with
Mhm.
pressure. I'll teach them with a lure
Yeah,
or even some other cue
yeah.
if I want. I
Lures. I mean, like for example, you can lure a dog down, but right after the lure, you can, like, let's say for example, you touch the leash a little bit like this, and then you lure down so the dog starts understanding that he has to do it. And once the dog does it really good, then you can go a couple little taps like ta 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 ta, and tap him down. One thing that I never have an issue with the down, for example, is because I usually teach the down last. Uh, so
mm,
so the for example, like I said, I start going. We're talking about obedience here, basic obedience stuff. I start with the heel, back and forth, back, back, back,
heel.
back, 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 tons, 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 tons of heel. Keep him right in the right spot. Tons of quick about turns. Keep the leash loose.
And are
Only,
you luring?
huh?
Are you luring the whole time for the healing, or how are you doing the healing?
I can have a treat up here, but I'm not. I'm not too much into luring too much. I think luring is fun. It's fun stuff
Mhm.
like for the dogs to look good and doing like this. But realistically, if it's a client's dog, I don't go too much into alluring because I need to get a solid obedience on the dog. So if I'm gonna have the dog for a couple weeks, 3 weeks or whatever, then I probably wouldn't waste time too much into alluring. It's most likely like for example, like if the dog is right here with me, can you see me good here?
Yep.
Okay.
I like your shirt, by the way, too.
Yeah, thanks. Like, let's say the dog is right here with me and the dog is walking with me. I'm just going like this, just walking, going around, and I can have the treat on my right hand because the dog has to turn this way, and then he gets a reward. So the dog is always going to be bouncing out. If it's a dog that likes to eat, of course, because many times you get a dog that they don't want any treats. But the idea is just to go this way, eh, and this way, and this one, this one, this one, this one. The dog comes, and then we give a reward. Not so much into a learning up here unless you were teaching for short term or something like that. But so the leash is nice and loose. I'll probably keep it. I'll probably have the leash on my left that I don't recommend that too much. But in the beginning, I have the door on my hand, so I can do this. Okay? Once the dog comes, then you get my reward. So once the dog starts getting the idea, then I get a little more serious about walking a little faster and straighter lines, sharper turns, and so on. Then also then comes the sit, of course. Then when the dog stops to get the treat, he always sits, and then you might put a little bit of leash pressure, like to let them know what you want, and most of the times they're going to sit on their own anyways if you're going upward. So it's just going to be like a quick back and forth, almost oval. It's not like straight lines, almost oval, and the dog comes
Mm.
and sits, and then you give a reward. Okay. Then comes let me see. Then comes stay. Okay. Then usually because the dog's already doing a bunch of heel and sit right away, right? And then it just all of a sudden you step away from the dog, and most of the times the dog will just stay automatically because like, whoa, what are you doing? You're the one who stepped away from the dog, and like the dog stays like, okay, cool, quick, go back and give him a reward, and then you keep repeating it and so on, and then you start introducing a little bit of corrections, like a little bit of sit, a little bit of tugs on the turns, tugs on the sit, and then if the dog is already knowing how to heel and sit, then the stay becomes automatically because if you say sit means sit. So if you
Mm.
step away, if he moves, sit. You don't even have to say the word stay because it takes, hey, you already told him to sit. Then you can give him a quick little correction. You sit. Then you can step him away, come back to the dog, blah blah blah. Done. Once you get that done, then comes the recall because the dog wants to break that sit. He wants to. He's like he wants to come to you. So it's like you guys say, "Good boy," and as soon as you go like this, the dog is going to come to you. And you give him a reward. And you keep repeating it. Then you go back, do a little bit here again, put on a sit stay. Then you step a little bit farther. Then you say, ready, come. And then you start introducing the word come. Okay, because in the beginning, the voice, the commands really don't matter too much in the beginning because it really takes a while for them to be exact on the command. Is pretty much how we use our body language and how we communicate with them. So if I just go, good boy, boom, the dog's going to fly to me. Then he gets a reward, they can tell him to sit, and so on. Now, once you get that pattern really good, then I start working on the down because the dog already has a foundation on leash working and going here, going there. So all I have to do is, like you said, maybe lure him or maybe put a little bit of pressure on the leash downward, then give him the reward. And now the dog already has a state because you did the sit state. So the dog has a,
Mm.
you already has a sit. So once he goes into a down, then you give him a reward. And a good important thing is that you make the dog get up. You don't let the dog get up on his own. So as soon as he goes down, good boy. And you make him go up so the dog understands that he's getting up because you're telling him not because he's doing it on his own. And you just repeat that a few times, and now the dog stays. The dog stays, you go away, then you do the down, stay, and then you come to you, and then gets the recall. Okay, but all this is basic stuff that the dog is doing it
Mhm.
for fun, and somehow is listening, but not 100%. And then with repetition and consistency, then it starts getting more solid, and it's done. It's just I don't know how to tell you. It's just I find it really. I don't get too technical into
Mhm.
steps because, like I said, most dogs are the same.
Yeah.
I mean, they have different temperaments and they're going to act a little bit different about different things. But most of the dogs is just like it's the same routine, the same how you motivate the dog to get up and pay attention and reward the dog. That's because that's pretty much a big thing. A big thing also that I do in training is that I try to give them love. Like I really want to give this freaking dog love. And probably I can probably honestly give him love because I love him. Okay, if I get a dog from my client, I really like it for you. I love this motherfucker. You know, like I give him a nice hug, and they really feel that. I mean, like you can use all the lures in the world or the foods that you want, but the minute that you get on your knees and you hug him and you give him a lot of rubs and stuff like that, that's when the dog really uh, bonds with you, and it's like, okay, this is my buddy. It's not just about food or treats or anything like that. And then once you lure him, once you wean him out of the treats, then you have all this affection that you given to the dog before, and that's it. You don't. It's not necessary to keep a pouch of treats all the time for the dog to listen to you. The dog should listen 100% no matter what. But if the dog is getting affection, then that's how it goes. I mean, I've been training for over 40 years, and I'm going back 30 years back. There were no treats.
Mhm.
Back 30 years ago, it was nothing but corrections and go and praise. Then the treats start coming and the clickers and all this stuff and blah blah blah. But back then there was none of that stuff. Yeah.
And a question about basic obedience. I do want to ask about some of your more advanced stuff. But with the basic obedience, do you also like to teach the dog additional behaviors that could help increase the dog's ability to learn? For example, in your video, you are teaching the dogs how to spin. You call it turn.
Yeah.
I teach every dog I train
Mm.
how to spin because, as you say in your course, the dogs generally like it. And
Yeah.
that's the same thing that I've seen with the dogs that I train. So it's
Yes.
like, even if I'm training someone's dog for basic pet obedience, I'm still teaching spin, I'm teaching through the legs.
Yeah.
I teach center as long as they're okay with it. Some people don't like center because the dog just comes up between
Yeah.
your legs at any
Yeah.
moment. But I like to incorporate lots of things that aren't part of what I want the dog to do at the end because I feel like it helps make the training more interesting. It helps
Yeah.
make the training more fun. And
Mhm.
it seems to me that it helps the dog learn more quickly, even though I'm adding more to the dog's plate. Is
Yeah.
that does that seem
I
true
mean,
with you as well?
those are great tools. I mean, like I said, the spinning it's a simple behavior, but dogs love it. Like you said, turn
Mhm.
around. Speaking is another one that dogs love. You speak, they start barking, and then you know that the dog is with you and he's ready for the next command. So I use them all the time. When it comes like to client behaviors, I probably don't do that because if I do it, they have to pay me. That's pretty much the bottom line. So it's like it pretty much it's if it's obedience training, he'll sit down, stay calm, then that's what they're gonna get. Uh, if they want a couple extra tricks or something, sit pretty, turn around, and you go through your legs, then they have to pay for that. That's pretty much it. You're doing it for free, good for you. but uh, but it's good. Yeah, the more you train your dog, the more you do this fun behaviors with them, the better it is. Yeah, but
Yeah, I've
it's
noticed that with my personal dogs too. The more I teach my personal dogs things, the faster they can learn it. Like in one of my videos, I taught my dog in the video. I didn't do any training outside of the video. It was a 15-minute video. I taught my dog, the one in the background, how to ring a bell. I mean,
Yeah.
pretty basic, easy
Right, right, right,
command or exercise, but the fact that I was able to do it so quickly because my dog understands how I communicate,
Mhm,
and she knows that I allow my dogs to try things,
mhm,
meaning I'm very relaxed when it comes to my dogs making mistakes. I
mhm,
don't like to put a lot of pressure on mistakes because I want them to be willing to try. I
mhm,
want them to experiment themselves to try to get to that reward.
mhm.
And I've noticed that with each dog that I've trained. Do you do certain exercises with your dog, like Monkey or any of your other dogs, where it might not be directly related to something that you're shooting for, like painting, but you know it's going to help change the chemistry in the dog's brain? It's going to help them learn more quickly.
Anything that I can think of, anything, any trick, any like jumping through the arms. They love that shit. They love that shit. You go ah, boom, and they just fly through it. It's just like these are behaviors that they're just like. It's just some people think like, wow, crazy behavior. It's not hard. They're just fun behaviors that dogs really, really enjoy. Like you were saying about the bell. It's funny because, like my Aussie, for example, Lucky, I say it all the time. I just say bell, and he freaking runs. I have a bell right here, and as soon as I say bell, boom, he flies and he touches it and comes back. So it's like fun stuff, and and it's the same thing with obedience. Basic obedience turns into advanced obedience just by being a good foundation and fun obedience. Okay.
Now, I want to teach my dog, Ari, the one in the back, I want to teach her how to use the toilet and flush.
Mhm.
Can you walk me through how I would teach that?
Yeah. Well, the you wanted to pee in the toilet or
Mhm.
to okay. For example, Monkey. The way I did it with Monkey, it was for fun. It was just to get it done and to film it and get the video and never happen again because my wife is not going to let me have a dog peeing inside the house. That's just not going to happen. So it, the Monkey knows really good the P command. Okay, we use it for studio work and we use it as a fake P that I can tell him to pee on here on the table or over there, whatever, and he goes and he lifts his leg like he's peeing.
Mm.
He does it really good. He actually lifts his leg really nice. So he knows that it's a fake pee. He knows that if I tell him to pee there, he's going to be a fake pee. But if I take him outside on a tree, if I say pee there, he's going to pee there, and he's going to do it. Especially if he has to go. Okay, so uh, it's something that we do a lot with him. Like time to go somewhere or in studio work, you take him outside, you pee. Goes around a couple times. No, go freaking pee in the. Let's go. We got to go in. So they go and they pee. So he knows what pointing there and pee there means. So he already has that. Then comes about the toilet. Then comes about peeing inside the toilet. He's not going to want to go inside the house because he knows he's not supposed to be inside the house doing the toilet. Okay. So I'll probably do a few fake pees in front of the toilet first. Like go pee so he gets comfortable lifting his leg there so he knows that I'm not going to punish him like, hey, you're not supposed to pee inside the house, go outside. So then the dog feels comfortable doing it, and we do it for a few days. Then then I'll probably get a little bit of a urine from a dog, different dog, or even him or whatever, and I just put it on the toilet right there on the edge over there. And I'm not going to take him outside to the yard. He's gonna hold it. Okay, so he's gonna really gonna have to go. Tell him go pee. He lifts his leg, but he probably won't go. I'm just telling how I taught him because, like I said, every dog's different.
Mhm.
So he'll fake it, but he's not going. Okay, that's fine. Let's go inside the house again, walk around, whatever. An hour later, go take him away. Come on, buddy, pee. It's okay. Pee, pee, pee. And got a little bit of pee. And he looked at me like, what the fuck did I do? Is that okay? He's like, yeah, it's okay. Like, he just let it go. Like, whoa. And I mean, he wasn't all inside the toilet. There was a bunch outside, but he just let it go. So it was cool. And then we repeated that every day in the morning. And then he just nailed it. He just got to a point that he just did it, and it was good. It was like perfect. It was like in the morning, go, time to go, do it, and he would just go pee right inside the toilet. Okay, so that's one part of the behavior. The other part is to open the toilet and to flush and stuff like that.
Mhm.
That comes from trick training, from touching things with his marks. If I tell him to touch anything with his paw, actually I use the word hi, like to say hi, but at the
Mm.
same time I use the mark to mark something. Like if I need him to touch anything, a doorknob, anything, if I need to touch him with, then I use the say hi and mark, and I just show him, and then he does it, and as soon as he does it one time, it's done. And the same thing with to flush the toilet. It was just a matter of a couple of minutes just to show him that that's what he was supposed to do. And then on the lifting of the toilet going up is the nudging behavior that he has. That if I say nudge something, he knows how to nudge it. He knows how to use his nose and nudge it. And same thing, you just give him a little bit of lure. You touch there, and in the beginning, what I did, I put something like on the lid of the toilet, so it will not be completely flat, so it won't be hard for him to stick his nose.
Mm.
So I put like I think it was like a little roll of tape, something like that, just put right there, so it'll be easy for him to nudge up. So as I nudge it, hold it, nudge, nudge, boom, all the way up. When he hears the clap, that's when he gets the reward of the seat. And same thing to close it down. It's just a high. It's like to touching it. And it's just behaviors that he already knows that I play with. So in other words, if you have all these behaviors ready to go, then it's just a matter of teaching. Like for example, yesterday I did that video, a new one with that where he catches the. I don't know if you saw him. I put it yesterday. That I throw a soccer ball, and he holds it with his paw, and then he nudges it out. Is after I did the painting yesterday on Instagram, I went
Mm.
and I was like, that would look kind of cool. So it was just a matter of putting the soccer ball on him on top in front of him and tell him to put his paw on it, like Mark, and that's it. Then I just move it forward and I say Mark, and he put it like this. Didn't take me more than 15 seconds to roll the ball at him fast, and he'll just stop it and put it and put the stop it with his paw. And then I had to tell him to back up. So in other words, leave the ball and nudge the ball and hit it out. So we repeated that a few times, and they're just behaviors that he knows, and it was done. It was just like 5 minutes later, it's perfect. It's just it doesn't matter how many times I repeated it, it was done. So once you have the foundation, the behaviors to put it together, then that's it. It's just
Yeah, it sounds like it lines up exactly what we were talking about, where the more the dog knows, the easier it is to
yeah,
teach him new things, and it sounds like you have a lot of prerequisites that were built up
yeah,
in addition to the communication system that enabled you to do it so quickly and effectively.
yeah.
Do you have anything else within your communication system besides the one that I mentioned that I use, which is the markers, the luring, and the leash cue? Do you have anything else that you're like, I got to teach the dog this to help with our communication? The mark system is a big part, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I use marks for from day one. That's just from the minute they're puppies, they're going to a mark. That's just like something that it's there, um, and it just rewards how I reward the dog. They can understand when as soon as if I use clicker sounds from my mouth sometimes. They,
Mhm.
I go like that, and then that means okay. I use a lot of. I talk to them a lot. Okay, I talk to them a lot. It's like my communication with them. I'm sure they don't understand every word that I say, but they know that I'm talking to them. When I'm painting with Monkey, I'm talking to them all the time. It's like, okay, let's use some white, like whatever. Let's do something really cool here, whatever. So I keep him going. I know he doesn't understand what I'm saying, but but it's like, okay, we're gonna use some blue now because the sky. Okay, you're gonna make some really cool clouds, whatever. And are you ready for this? Let's make it big, or something like. And he gets excited. Okay, cool. And so it's just like just talking, a lot of communication, a lot of talking, and that's how I communicate with these guys. And like I said, sometimes I think he understands me a lot more than what I think. Because
I
when we're painting, it's just like I mean, so sometimes to touch it in certain spot, it's just like all talking, this voice command, too hard to get the dog to go up, low, on the side. And he just goes right on it, wait, and he just touches it right where it's supposed to. Let's go slow. I really
And
like it.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I do that as well, where I talk to my dogs quite a bit. And I know some people are against that, but I want my dogs to know that I'm constantly trying to communicate with them, even if it's not something as specific as like a marker or a command. So I do the same thing, and I think they do sense it. And so, I really appreciate you taking the time today and sharing your experience and wisdom. And from rescues to red carpet, you've inspired dog lovers everywhere. Where can our audience go if they want to keep getting inspired by your work?
Well, I mean, they can find me on the social media. It's Omar Von Muller, one word in Instagram. The Facebook is Omar and Monkey. I also have a Facebook that is called is Omar Von Muller, and I have a Patreon page. It's been a little bit off lately. I got to get back to it again, but it's training with Omar at Patreon.com. I do that one, and I just opened a new website for Monkey. It's Monkey's Art Gallery. That's the new website that I'm opening right now. I'm new at this, so I'm just putting it together. But it's all about art. It's all about paintings. I'm having a blast doing this, and we're doing so many paintings. I mean, we've done over 50 paintings already. So it's just that's where you can find me.
And what's in the future for you?
In the future, as of right now, is to keep painting. Because that's I'm really focusing and to see how far I can take these guys. And I mean, in short 7 months that we've been doing this, what we have accomplished just blows me away. So I'm not going to stop. There's not stopping. It's just go, not just with Monkey, but also with Lucky. So we're gonna keep going and going to see where we can go. That's the next level of painting that we're going to. I mean, we've done just about everything and a lot of other behaviors and parkour and tricks and stuff. So now we're trying something new. Also, the reason why I started to is because Monkey's turning 6. So last year I was thinking, he can't be doing all this parkour and all these jumps and stuff like that. It's not so good for his joints. And I'm not going to wait until he's crippled to retire him. I'd rather retire him from doing all crazy stuff while he's healthy and then enjoy many more years with him without getting hurt. So painting, that's one of the reasons that we started because it's something that I know the dog is not going to get hurt. We're going to spend a lot of time together doing stuff. And it's not just the painting. We take him out, and of course we play frisbee, we play ball, and runs and swimming and all that kind of stuff. But this is something that we spend a lot of time together. So only the future can tell where we're going to go. We'll see 6 months from now where we are.
I, for one, am definitely looking forward to it. And I'll be sure to put all the links that you mentioned in the description of this video so people can go down there and easily find you. And everyone who's listening, another episode, another step forward. Thanks for being part of the journey, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Thanks for the invite. Okay, guys.